Hey everybody, this is D Hunter, bringing another action figure review. Today, we're going to look at the McFarlane DC Direct Batman the Animated Series, The Condiment King. McFarlane is sort of continuing the DC Direct Batman the Animated Series line that ended a couple years ago, but it's mostly re-releases and cell shading. To build a figure, the Condiment King is going to scratch the itch for a brand new animated character. The Condiment King is about the most obscure Batman villain you can think of from any incarnation, and that is right up my alley. If you buy all four of these figures, Batman, Robin, Mr. Freeze, and Scarecrow, you get to complete the fifth bonus figure, the Condiment King. Never been released before, and that's exactly what I'm looking for in my action figure collection. Brand new Batman villains, never have seen plastic before. These guys are Target exclusives, and I tracked down the entire wave, but it wasn't easy. The first store I went to just had one figure. The second store had three figures, but of course they weren't the other three. And a couple days later, I finally found Scarecrow. I still haven't found the Plan of Chase variant of Scarecrow. If anybody has an extra or has a lead on where I can get one, please drop me a line in the comments below. I could really use some help there. So, this entire wave, all five of these figures is from Batman the Animated Series. There will be the new Batman Adventures coming in the next wave. Here are the front of the packages, and then here's the back of all their packages. So with no further ado, let's open them up and put together the Condiment King. Alright, now that these figures are out of the package, here they are with all their accessories laid out. In this video, we're going to take a look at Condiment King. We'll check out each piece, put them together. We'll check out his accessories, height and articulation, and we'll compare them with a bunch of other action figures. So let's start off with the first piece with Batman, Condiment King's arms. So let's start off with Batman. Batman here comes with Condiment King's arms, and then Robin is next. Robin comes with Condiment King's legs. So far, we have the arms and legs. Can't quite put anything together yet. And then Mr. Freeze here. He comes with Condiment King's accessory. This is his ketchup and mustard gun. He has this backpack with absolutely no paint detail, connected with a string, which is kind of like the tube for a ketchup and a mustard gun. The accessory is basic, but it's really cool addition to Condiment King. And finally, we have Scarecrow. He comes with Condiment King's torso. He looks fantastic. And that will give us four pieces of Condiment King. Let's put them together. Here are the legs and the torso put together. Next, here he is with the accessory attached. So there you have it. Condiment King fully assembled. Proudly standing there with his underwear on the outside, just like superheroes and supervillains do. He is absolutely ridiculous. I wouldn't even call this guy a C-lister. He's a D-lister or an F-lister at best. Batman villain. A worthy addition to the Rogues Gallery, but it's ridiculous with his ketchup and mustard gun, hot sauce packets, pickle mask or helmet. Absolutely ridiculous, and that is his charm. I relish having this figure in my collection. So the Condiment King was originally created for Batman the Animated Series. He wasn't even a Batman rogue. He was just sort of a one-off. So Condiment King's real name is Buddy Stanler. Buddy Stanler was once a famous stand-up comedian. He ended up being a judge for the annual Laugh Off comedy competition. The Joker tried to join the competition, but they wouldn't let him in. Buddy Stanler, Harry Loomis, and Lisa Lorraine were all three judges, and they were brainwashed by Joker using Mad Hatter technology to get him back for what they've done, offended him, and told him he basically wasn't funny enough to join the competition. Buddy Stanler became the Condiment King, Harry Loomis became the Pack Rat, and Lisa Lorraine, Mighty Mom. These were all sort of joke villains. They weren't actual Batman rogues, but Condiment King has since been adapted into the comics, modern day and age. And you can use him however you want. For me, he is going to be a Batman rogue in my collection, one of the most ridiculous and useless worth of ones out there. But that's his charm. I love these old school, Silver Age, stupid, dorky rogues. We have the Crazy Quilt, Calendar Man, the Eraser, there's a guy even with a camera for his head. Absolutely ridiculous, hokey villains that would stand no chance against Batman. But that's their charm. I love it. I mean, just look at him. He has his underwear, his whitey-tighties on top of his outfit. Literally what you think of when you think of a superhero done by a child. So let's take a look at him. Starting with his face, he has sort of a pickle on top of his head. Absolutely ridiculous. Sunglasses. He's got his ketchup and his mustard gun. A big C in the middle of his chest for Condiment King. He has the same cell shading the other figures have, dark on the side. Double jointed knees. Looks like single jointed elbow. My figure is quite loose in the hip area, and that really sucks. He's very top heavy with this big thing on his back. He has 2 strings for his guns, and I don't really know why, but the mustard one is quite a bit longer than the ketchup one. On the back, this thing has absolutely no detail, and that sucks. It looked way better in the show. These gauges should be painted. This whole thing should be different. Nice little custom job for someone out there. Still, you can see the whitey tighties too. I love adding this character to the collection. He definitely has a place in Arkham Asylum. He belongs there. Look at him. And a closer look at his face and head sculpt. Love the pickle. Nice touch. Very tall, thin, exaggerated, stylized like Batman the Animated Series. You can see the cell shading on one side. Not really a fan of that. So I am very curious about this figure. McFarlane has released several different Batman the Animated Series stuff from DC Direct, and it's pretty much all re-releasing stuff already made with a slightly different paint job. And I appreciate that at least it has a different paint job, that way something's different. But Condiment King here, he is the first brand new figure under the McFarlane banner and DC Direct. It makes me wonder, was this guy maybe previously sculpted, and they're just taking the previous sculpt and releasing it? I don't know. And honestly, they aren't saying. I don't think anyone knows besides the people behind the scenes. McFarlane sort of acquired the DC Direct license. They do statues. They have access to all their old sculpts and molds. So they've been releasing some of the animated series figures. Animated series was at the very end of DC Direct's life, and so the figures didn't even make it out. I imagine those figures will see the light of day in time. But are they making new figures? Are these just old figures? Are they going to make more new figures? Who knows? I believe they have some of the people from DC Direct working for them, and maybe they have some of the sculptors too. I could see McFarlane maybe saying, let's get the old gang back together and do this just like they did, 5-10 years ago. And that would be really cool. But who knows? This could just be an old mold they acquired. Or it could be something brand new they made. And here's the figure broken down as far as it can go, with all of his removable parts detached. You can remove his backpack and his weapons. And you don't have to take the arms off to do that. You can just sort of slide them off. He does have these 2 giant holes in his back, but it's kind of nice to be able to have him with or without the huge accessory. Now let's check out that huge accessory. So it's very basic. It's sculpted nicely, but absolutely no paint. You think McFarlane toys have bad paint jobs? Man, the DC Direct line, it's like they're not even trying. Looks like just a prototype here, unpainted, and that's exactly what they put out. Maybe a lot of work to paint this thing, but man, it could look a lot better than it does. The whole thing is just unpainted. Then you have these guns. At least they're painted red and yellow. It looks okay. Sort of looks like a condiment bottle. Now, I don't know why, but the mustard string is quite a bit longer than the ketchup string. That's definitely bothering me. Either way, I'm very happy to have this figure and his crazy accessory. Here's Condiment King without the weapon. And here he is with his backpack and weapon attached. One thing that would be very nice for this guy would be if he had some way to sort of holster those 2 guns, whether it be on the side or maybe even the back here. I hate how they're just sort of dangling there. I don't know if you can sort of shove them in. I don't know, that just sort of sucks. So if they're not in his hands, they look like crap. And if you take the big backpack off, I don't know, there's a big holes in the back and he looks kind of incomplete. Still, you do have him where you could take off his weapon and have him interact with other villains. Or, and most of the time, having his backpack on, his condiment guns ablazing, pulled out, ready to go. Now that I've taken a pretty good look at both the figure and his accessories, now let's check out his height. From bottom to the very top of his pickle head, he's standing at about 6.75 inches tall, which can translate to about 17 centimeters. So he's pretty tall, especially compared to the other Batman animated figures, and I appreciate that. The taller the better as far as I'm concerned. Just an idea of his height. You can see the shoulders are pretty even with Batman, but his giant elongated head puts him at close to 7 inches tall. Now for his articulation. Starting with his head, of course, you can rotate from side to side. He can look up and down, Up not too much, down a pretty good amount. Head on sort of a ball joint. Pretty good range of motion there. Can even sort of tilt from side to side. Shoulders, also on a ball joint, goes out a little bit less than 90 degrees. Up, down, around, all that good stuff. He's got single jointed elbow, about a 90 degree bend with rotation. His wrists can rotate, and they're going to be hinged as well. Torso is one solid piece. Traditional waist swivel. Legs, complete as a splits. Ball joints. My legs are super loose, and that sucks for a figure I was really looking forward to. Legs go forward about that much, but they're really not staying there for me. Double jointed knees below that. And then his ankle. Forward and back. Tilt rock. No rotation. And there you have it. Condiment King. Here's the Condiment King. Probably a local Dairy Queen. He seems to be displeased about the portions of condiments. The Dairy Queen cashier looks toward Condiment King and asks himself, what is this guy? Some kind of mustard? Now let's check him out. Next is some other action figures. Starting off with some other Batman the Animated Series figures. Here he is with the rest of this wave of figures. I still haven't found the Platinum Chase animated Scarecrow. Hope to find him soon. And let's not forget, we also have the Bat Cycle here as part of the wave. Now these aren't the first DC Direct Batman the Animated Series offerings McFarlane has made. Here's Condiment King next to the Laughing Fish 4-pack. This is a Walmart exclusive, re-releases with cell shading. And here's the first set of DC Direct animated figures McFarlane released. This was a wave after the very last wave DC Direct made a few years ago. It was really cool to finally get the Batman Laughs and the unmasked Selina Kyle. There was still one more wave shown after this, and that was canceled. Hopefully McFarlane will get that out somehow. I think that one had Talon, Thomas Wayne Batman, a Robin, and a Batgirl. In addition to all that stuff, there are some more animated figures coming out by McFarlane. Under the DC Direct banner, we have a single release of Alfred. Pre-orders dropped today and he already sold out. And I believe the next wave is going to be the new Batman Adventures Batman, similar to the one in front of you. Croc and Baby Doll, Two-Face, and then Batgirl. It's going to be the new Batman Adventures wave. Here's a look at all the Batman villains. Batman the Animated Series style. These are done with DC Direct. Going to add Condiment King to this mix. And here's a look at all the different animated villains. The new Batman Adventure style. Different style, same universe. They all look fantastic next to each other. Now let's check them out. Next is some other recent obscure Batman releases. These are Batman villains, part of the Rogues Gallery, but a lot of them you probably never even heard of. Here's Condiment King, next to McFarlane's 1966 comic Lord Deathman. Lord Deathman is actually originally from the comics, started in the 60s, and is still around today. I love obscure villains like this. Another recent new Bat villain is the Abyss. This is in the DC Multiverse line. I didn't even know who the Abyss was, so I went ahead and read a bunch of his comics. Pretty cool character, pretty cool story. An honorable mention at Catman, another obscure villain McFarlane released recently. Now Mattel did make a Catman figure before, so he's not brand new in plastic form, but still, I love that McFarlane is pulling things from all different corners of the DC universe. I mean, take Egghead and King Tut. Talk about some crappy Batman villains. Egghead, Condiment King, King Tut teamed up. Anyone could take them down. And let's not forget, McFarlane made Polka Dot Man. No one's ever made him before, and he was a Batman rogue. Another crappy one. Now let's check him out. Next is some action figures from different various companies, so we can see how he fits in, both scale and style-wise, in case you don't know which lines you can mix him with. Since he's a DC Direct Batman animated figure, they're typically the 6-inch scale. I'm going to start off my comparisons with some of these smaller action figure lines I collect. They work way larger. Here he is, next to some Chazwares Fortnite, and some SH Figure Arts action figures. Then, with some Hasbro Marvel Legends, and some Mafex figures. And here, next to a box of Boo Berry cereal. Here's Condiment King, next to some Mattel and some Mezco DC figures. And here he is, next to some Jazzwares and some Mattel wrestling figures, then with some NECA and some DC Direct figures, and now next to some DST or Diamond Select toys and some Jack-specific wrestling figures, and finally next to some McFarlane DC Multiverse Batman figures. So overall, I love the figure, I love the character, I love these obscure Bat villains, but he's not without his flaws, and unfortunately they are many. So I expect his articulation to be kind of basic, and that's all good. But his legs are so loose with the hips. I mean, so loose. If I find another Robin, I might buy a different one and return this one. This is a character I was really excited to have a figure for, first time ever in action figure form, and it's really, really hard to get him to stand. His legs are loose. In addition to that, he's very top heavy because of his accessory, so it makes it even harder for him to stand. It's been a battle this entire video. Also, his accessory. My God, why would they make that solid one color? That looks hideous. That requires serious repainting, and that is unfortunate. This guy isn't cheap either. These guys are $30 a pop, so you gotta spend $120 before taxes just to be able to build this guy. Should have been better. Really, really happy to add him to the collection, but articulation is mediocre. The accessory, it's great that he came with it, but frankly, it kind of sucks because it's just so bland looking. And the figure himself, he looks fantastic. Do not misunderstand me. I like the fact that he's taller than the other figures, fits in better with the other stuff in my collection. He'd be great with your DC Universe Classic stuff. I like the way it looks. The cell shading is not that bad on him. It's worse on the Batman in the entire wave. If I were to rate this guy, and it's a tricky one because I'm just really happy to have him in hand, but I'm probably going to make 6.5, and that's very disappointing. I was hoping to give this guy something like a 7.5 or an 8. I mean, as a whole, the animated figures are shorter than I'd like, but I knew that going into this. But some of the other issues he has are definitely frustrating, to say the least. Still, really happy to check this character off my list. Really happy to add him to the other crazies in Gotham City. So this is D Hunter. Thank you guys for watching the video. If you liked the video, press like below. If you have anything you want to say about the video, add to the comment section. If you want to see additional action figure reviews from me, press subscribe. I do appreciate when you do that. Once again, this is D Hunter. Thank you guys for watching this video, and I will talk to you guys real soon.